Hi everybody! In this video, I'm going to be going through the notes for lesson 4.1, which is about determining whether a number is or is not a solution to an equation. So let's start by talking about what exactly is an equation. An equation must always have an equal sign. This right here is an equation because, as you can see, we have an equal sign in the middle. Now, an equation has two sides. There is the left side of the equation, and there is the right side of the equation. And those two sides are separated by the equal sign. In order for an equation to be true, the left side must equal the right side. If the left side and the right side are not equal, then the equation is not true. What we're going to do today is we're going to test to see whether numbers are or are not solutions. Now, a solution is a number that makes an equation true. So here's how we can test to see whether or not a number is a solution. First, we're going to replace all of the variables with the value that we are checking. So for example, in this problem, it says, here is my equation. Is x equals 2 a solution? What I'm going to do is start by copying down the problem, but replacing the x with the number 2, which is going to look like this. 3 parentheses, and then instead of x, I'm going to fill in the number 2, and then minus 4 parentheses plus 5 equals -1. So that's step 1. Replace all of the variables with the number that we're testing. Then we're going to calculate the left side of the equation using our calculator. Now, in this problem, my equal sign is right here. So the left side of the equation would be all of this stuff. What I'm going to do is type that straight into my calculator. I'm going to let my calculator do all the work here. So I'm going to type in 3 parentheses 2 minus 4 parentheses plus 5. And when I do that, I get -1. The next step is to type in the right side of the equation on our calculator. Now in this case, the right side of the equation is just the number 1, so there really isn't anything to type in. I'm just going to copy it down. I'm also going to copy down that equal sign that was in between the left and the right. Then I'm going to check to see if this equation is true. If the left side is equal to the right side, then the number that I just tested is a solution. If the left side is not equal to the right side, then the number that I just tested is not a solution. In this case, -1, which is on the left, is actually equal to -1, which is on the right. So this number that I tested is a solution. The number 2 is a solution. We're going to try this a couple more times. So in problem number 1, in the follow-up example, it says, here's my equation. Is the number -10 a solution? The first thing I'm going to do is replace this x with a -10. So I'm going to start by copying everything down, but just changing the x to a -10. That means I'm going to write 3 and then parentheses -10 minus 5 all divided by 7 equals -5. I copied everything down. I just changed the x to a -10. Now I'm going to type in the left side of the equation on my calculator. So again, I'm letting my calculator do all of the heavy lifting here. I'm typing it straight in. And when I do that, I get -5. I'm going to copy down that equal sign, which is right in between the left side and the right side, and then I'm going to type in the right side on my calculator. Now again, we got lucky this time. The right side is just the number -5, so all I'm going to do is copy down the number -5. Since -5 really is equal to -5, I would say that the number I tested is a solution. So the number -10 is a solution to this equation. Let's try one last example. In this example, you can see that the number we're supposed to be testing is m equals 10. And you'll notice that this time there are actually two separate m's in this equation. That just means I have to replace both of them with this number. So first I'm going to copy down the equation, but change all the m's to 10's. So I'm going to have 2, and then parentheses 10, and then plus 4, equals -3, and then parentheses 10, and then plus 19. Again, I'm just copying the entire equation down. I'm just changing all the m's to 10's. Now I'm going to type in the left side on my calculator. So on my calculator, I'm going to type in 2 parentheses 10 plus 4, and I get 24. On the right side, this time it's not just a number, so I'm actually going to have to type this in. -3 parentheses 10 plus 19 is -11. Well, in this case, these two numbers are not really equal. So because they're not really equal, the number that I just tested is definitely not a solution. Thank you so much for watching. That's it for this video. Please make sure you have your notes done, and I'll see you for some practice.